stopped pouring the wine.
Sorry.
Well, see, we have an issue. We bought this Lakewood Temptress, which we usually really, really like all the different flavors of. And they do have a holiday cinnamon. And the fact is that it tastes somewhere between chocolate chip ice cream, Listerine, and toothpaste. So it's going to be hard for me to drink in this one, unfortunately. But I think we'll get on without it.
But I have other
Are you going to use a mic, or are you just going to talk into the glass? You're just drinking out of your wine glass.
Sorry, excuse me. Oh, Actual Gaming's here today, but we have no one.
That's creaking chair.
It's broken, remember?
Yeah, we gotta stop.
But we have no one for him to name.
Right oh,
yeah.
To name.
To name.
Yeah, so we do not have a guest today, which is, I mean, it's weird because it's so hard to get people. We didn't realize how hard it is to get people on like the podcast.
But then think the next 1, 2, 3, 4 after this we have guests. That's 4 weeks.
Yeah, like we have like a month full of really good guests, and like I'm super excited about having on. I'm not sure if like we say them beforehand or not.
No.
Is it a secret? Because like if someone backs out at the last minute, you don't want
to have it. Well, we usually reveal it. You make like a clip art and.
Yeah, so I guess
I'll
do it that a clip of basically. That's pretty much it's pretty much on the level of Microsoft Paint.
Clip art. You make the graphic, and then that's when we reveal who's going to be on. But yeah.
So I won't tell everyone who's going to be on, so we'll just let it hang.
Till next Sunday?
But it will be good. And it will be a different range of guests. So like I really want to get to all different kinds of guests, meaning not like we've been way into Morelia, way into green trees and stuff like that. And I mean, we're even going to have like ball python people. We're going to have me squeaking because I'm just reaching puberty. We're going to have...
I'm going to have to move this
corn snake people.
Can't see it.
Who else are we going to have? Just social medias peoples. You know what I mean? Just a whole bunch of different stuff.
Someone said, when are we coming to Orlando?
I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons to go to Florida, but we may have one, but I don't know if we're going to go or not.
Okay. Also, Evan said if anyone backs out at the last minute, just hit Evan up.
Yeah, so if anyone backs out, it's going to be the return of Ice Cube Rice.
We gotta have Ryan back another night too.
I want to do like when you're gone at Christmas one with like me, Evan, and Ryan or something.
Why does it have to be when I'm gone?
Well, because like.
Excuse me, why can't I be here for that?
We're like guys, and
you're talking to the whole world.
You're like a girl, and you're just very limiting. You know, sometimes you just need to.
You're talking.
Sometimes you just need to let us be free. So, yeah, if it was just us 3 guys.
Okay.
Thought that would be cool.
Okay. Well, the 50th one we're having.
The 50th one? I don't know. Maybe we'll coincide. We'll just do. I don't know.
No, we
honestly don't prepare.
But
we didn't count out.
No, we did last week. It's in Lilypad did it. It's like January 14th or something.
No.
Lilypad said to beat you up also.
I'm still gonna feed her to the olive python.
Shut up. Someone said they can't see anything. She says it is saying waiting for anyone else. I don't know why. It seems like everyone else can see.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Sorry, Actual Gaming said because no one gets hungry if I'm not there. The last one I let go over 2 hours. Like, it was long. It was good with Bill last week. I learned new stuff. What?
I don't know. I think we have fun every week when people are on.
Yeah, but just you. You're not. We're not. We're not enough anymore.
When it's just us.
Yeah.
When it's just us, it's kind of like
we don't know how to do just us anymore.
But I mean, it's gonna happen from time to time because it's hard to get people. It's hard to get a specific time and date.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and I never really know how to approach people. I don't want like to force people to be on our show. Like if you don't want to be on the show, then it's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We're just spinning these wheels while talking to everyone. Yes. So if anyone knows anyone who would like to come on,
I want like
We're
a
trying to
zoo
get-
person.
I want to get like 2 months in advance.
I want someone from like the Fort Worth or the Dallas Zoo. I think
There
that would
you
be
go.
cool.
Someone hook it up. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I think I may know someone we may be able to hook it up, but
okay, we're not even talking about anything.
We need to update about our collection. What's happened since last month?
Well, if they follow us on YouTube and Instagram,
right,
they saw that we got a whole bunch of new snakes.
Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of new snakes, a lot of corn snakes, all corn snakes.
Oh, sorry, the jungle's just doing something weird.
So it's like, I think we got like 15 adults. So we are going to have a bunch of different mutations and cool stuff we're pumped about. And I just fed them their last meal like a week ago. And now we're going to let them all clear themselves out and then put them into brumation.
So when we decided our pairings, I mean, you just basically used your brain. But I saw for the first time, I didn't know on Morph Market's website, they have like a breeding calculator, which I thought was cool. How trusty or reliable is that?
I don't know. I've never used the Morph Market one, and I wouldn't even know enough probably to tell them that they're wrong, even if they were wrong. But when I just did it, I just went off of things that are similar, have similar hats, or that can further advance a project,
make
stuff
it brighter,
before.
Stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, just for different looks I'm looking for. It's hard to say what made me go one way instead of another.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just like, at some point you're just putting things together and
just hoping it turns out well.
But also not really. Like the lava terrazzo to ghost stripe, coral ghost stripe tessera. That's very specific because the lava terrazzo ghost, whatever the fuck, is really cool. So
okay. It's funny you said it's super specific. It sounds super random to me.
Lava tessera terrazzo.
Jesus, it's a long name there. That's gonna be. So what do you? Okay, so our lava terrazzo is the kind of like diffuse looking one, or am I making that up?
So the terrazzo is what it kind of like pixelates and distress all the patterns.
So it looks kind of diffused looking, or just
it looks like a diffused look, even though there is a diffused in corn snake. So that's why I don't want to use that word because that's super confusing.
Did you see your brother?
Yes.
Hi. He said he's really good at drinking beer as well. He probably missed the part where we said this beer was the most.
I'm trying to drink
it's the most
really,
disgusting
really
beer we've pretty much ever had.
Yeah,
ever.
Don't drink.
But it sounds good. Like when we bought it, we thought it was gonna taste like Thin Mint.
Good idea. I don't know, man.
It's Thin Mint.
I just realized I don't want to.
Don't keep forcing it. It's just so bad. Okay, sorry. Back to our discussion. The lava is like the diffuse one, and then the coral.
No, lava is like the enhancing gene. It's more of an orange.
I didn't say the whole word. The lava to whatever is the diffuse.
But the terrazzo is what gives it that look, not the lava. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Why is it in your mouth right now?
Because you were annoying me. Okay, so that's the diffuse looking one, and then the coral ghost one is that purpley looking one that we posted on Instagram recently. So what do you expect those once they do it?
Well, the coral gives it pink influence, and the ghost gives it a purple influence, and the lava terrazzo gives it a brighter look and distressed pattern.
So we could have like a distressed purpley one.
What I want is something that has purple. It's like purple, pink, and I don't know, probably dark speckles on it or something like that. So it's gonna be like really, really weird looking. It's gonna be like a fucking unicorn. I don't know.
Okay.
It will just hopefully have purple and pink in it. So
cool. Sorry, I just noticed we have someone from Brazil watching, and I thought that was cool.
Very cool.
Michael Franklin. Lilypad also said
that doesn't sound very Brazilian.
How would you pronounce that?
I don't know.
Mikhail?
I don't know, but Franklin
sounds
very English name.
Oh no, maybe he's not Brazilian, but he just lives there. Lilypad said, I always have a water bowl in his tank, and he never drinks it. As soon as I put him in the bath, he drinks it for like 15 minutes. Like I deprived him for months.
You don't put any context to that.
That's what. That's the first one I saw. Oh, she says she thinks her ball python's on the spectrum. So I didn't even need to read that first one because she said it never drinks out of the water bowl, but then she puts him in it and he drinks forever. Like,
I mean, I do that sometimes. If I see a snake and I just refill their water bowl, I'll put their head to it just to see if I can get them to drink. But it doesn't really. You don't have to do that.
Okay, so she said she puts him in the bath, and that's when he really drinks.
I'm not a bath person.
You're not. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't do snakes in the bath.
Yeah. So with what else we got?
Okay, sorry.
Also, I really want to do the honey gene is another big thing. So that I believe is a caramel sun-kissed, and the honey is basically like this yellow and a greenish-y yellow.
I don't see green.
I don't know, or it's a brownie.
Yeah, it's brown, a mustardy
yellow.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get big black borders around all the saddles on there.
Kind of like Okatee-ish.
Yeah. Just putting more black in there.
Okay. And you're going to just do the 2 honeys we have together?
Yeah, so if you do 2 honeys, then you're going to get all honeys, and then you can pick
just
what
the
honey
blackest.
You want to keep, and then sell
keep
the rest,
making the blackest.
And then you keep on doing that, keep on doing that, keep on doing that. So
cool. I like the black around it. I think that'll look cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I put it on Instagram like, hey, what would you guys rather do? Because I wanted to take the black out.
See, no, I like the black.
But everyone else liked the black. It was literally everyone. No one agreed with me, so I'm just going to do what... And I mean, that
do what the people want.
Just as well for me, but I don't really care which way. I wanted to get it because I think that looks the best, but either way, I think they'll all look cool. I'll probably get a little bit of both anyway.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Your brother said you bathed with your green tree.
Not or is true. I had to put him in water, but it's a whole different thing.
That's a little when it had its prolapse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense. But then she said, is that an innuendo? And I thought that too. Like, wait, did he mean a different thing other than your green tree?
No.
Did he?
No, it doesn't make any sense. People, come on. So what I'm gonna do is put those guys
together.
Yeah.
What else?
But I'm gonna end up brumating them in the like outdoor storage area.
Now I know at one point you were talking about putting a space heater in the brumation area. Is that normal? Do most people do that?
I don't know. That's a very specific situation. It doesn't matter as long as it gets to 55 degrees. Or
so you're just going to set the space heater to 55?
To probably 50 just to make sure it doesn't get too low. Even though I'm sure it would be fine even if it did get really low. I've heard of people have days where it got in like the 30s or 40s and it wasn't a big deal.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, so. But I don't want to risk it, so I'll probably just put it at
50 and keep it. And you're going to put them down in December?
What I'm going to do is probably in about 2 weeks or so put them down.
Oh,
so it'll be December, about 3 or 4 weeks.
2 weeks is December.
Well, no, really what I was thinking is like the end of November. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who Douglas Fresh is, but I don't know if anyone brought up retics.
Oh, I don't know. Do you know who Blake Wilson is?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you feed a black baby racer pinkies?
If it eats pinkies, yeah.
If it takes it?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. But, I mean, really, I'm sure you're just plucking something out of the wild, so it might be a little hard. Rat snakes and stuff are usually fine. I don't really know about.
But, I mean, we feed our corn snakes that are small pinkies. So he was saying he thinks it's too small, but I'm sure it's fine.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. You're gonna have to have. I don't know how big your snake is. I need more information. But
whoa, corn snakes are illegal in Brazil.
Really, I didn't know that.
Corn snakes, boa constrictors, and all other.
Which is weird, just because boa constrictor is native, but corn snakes aren't. But I'm sure corn snakes would definitely survive in Brazil. So. I'm sure that's probably why they don't want them there. I'm not really sure.
Because they don't want them to get out.
But I mean, you've seen people. A lot of people who follow us are from Brazil and stuff like that.
And I feel like they have stuff.
I don't know.
I don't know how they get it. Okay, what's another pairing we're doing?
What are we doing?
We have the list somewhere.
We're doing some more Ultramel stuff. Probably more Ultramel Tessera stuff. And then what else do we have? Sulfur stuff. And I mean, but the thing is, like, people who aren't completely
into corn snakes don't know what this is.
Yeah, and it's kind of silly to read all the names, but the fact is we're breeding a bunch of stuff next year. And yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty much, there's no pythons going or doing anything.
Unfortunately.
This year.
Okay, so tell me, are you going to do any difference between the brood mating and all that between the hognose and the corn snakes?
No.
Oh, they just go the same?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably don't know what I'm doing. We'll see. That's what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure people do that, although some people I've heard of just dropping the room down to 70 and feeding it less, and they cycle. So, I mean, I'm going to brood mate them like regular, so... Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident people do that. I should probably Google that more before, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And as far as like hognoses with making them lock up and stuff, like, are you going to leave them the same amount of time like you do your corn snakes? Can they hang out for longer? And I know some people do certain species for longer.
What do you mean?
When you're
Keep
trying
them in the enclosure?
In one tub, when you're trying to make them lock up, when they're courting or whatever.
Usually do it pretty immediately. A lot of colubrids do it pretty immediately. So, yeah, what else?
So with the hognose, I was saying, are you going to?
I don't know. I haven't bred them before. So if they lock up right away, that's fine. If they're more like ball pythons where I leave them in there overnight or see if they
Would you be nervous to leave them in overnight?
No, they're not going to eat each other or anything.
Okay. Oh, well.
No. They'll be totally fine.
Okay. I mean, they're just so mean. I didn't know if they'd be mean to each other and do all that.
Bite, though. They don't even really bite.
No, they just make noises all night. Okay. It'll be interesting to see if they do lock up very quickly.
I don't know. I'm sure I'll figure it out in a second. I'll probably have to go. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, you don't have to try very hard. You don't have to go very far. All you do is Google search how to breed something. And then fucking read it.
Yeah, but they could be nervous about all the crazy stuff out there, or different like answers, and it could be overwhelming.
Right, but there's like a million things that could go wrong. There's a million. You just do it and move on.
Okay, it's a little harsh.
Well, it's hard because everyone's looking for a very specific thing. But I mean, all the information's out there. You just kind of got to look for it.
Yeah, and people don't always want to take that step. I kind of understand that. I'd rather just ask someone and tell me how to do it.
Right, but someone's doing that in a form that it's going to be there forever, and you can always refer to it via, whether it's an article from an old Reptiles magazine that's online or something like that, or someone's website. I mean, there's plenty of things that are there forever, and you don't have to waste someone's time to reiterate it.
Ouch.
And I don't mind doing. I don't mind telling people how to breed.
Sounds like you do mind.
No, but I'm just saying that's what I've done, and that works for me. So you are being, what would you call that? As long as you're being on the forefront as far as like just research some stuff on your own.
You are their research. Your brother said if it's on the internet, it has to be true. Yeah. See?
So I mean, but there's so many reliable things out there.
But how do you, if you're a new person, how do you know what's reliable and what's not?
No, you may not. But...
Excuse me.
Okay, that's nice.
I'm sorry. I can't control my coughing.
Oh, thought you could.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just hard because the people who are really, really into it don't mind doing the research, so.
True.
And plus, I don't think anyone should not want to put out information and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, it helps everyone. But it's out there, reiterated like a million times, so I don't want to.
But then people have no need for us. What's their need for us if they're going and looking?
No one needs us.
We want people to need us.
Why?
What are we doing here if people don't need to watch this?
Well, they don't need to watch it. They just
our video.
Maybe if it's entertaining, or they just want to talk snakes.
They need to watch it.
Oh, okay.
You make them feel like they need it.
Well, no, but there's no. What I'm saying is, there's no like secret out there. There's no special secret you could tell anyone about. It's just doing consistently these things over and over again and learning from what worked and what didn't.
The secret is don't be scared, like me.
Yeah, I mean, I understand when people are really, really scared, but also if you like are scared because your snake is a different color and you didn't know your snake sheds, like someone just posted it on Facebook.
Yeah,
group
that was,
recently.
and I even knew that one. Like,
that's a little hard.
She said, "Why is my snake turning blue?" Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, like she didn't know that a snake sheds. So I mean, that's pretty. Come on, guys.
That's pretty low. That's pretty low.
But anything above that, I don't feel terrible about. But then again, it's like people are also very worried about, hey, is my snake like there's a dot on it or something like that? Is it?
But that, whatever. I mean, on that side, I feel like that's good that they're overcautious. I'd rather them be overcautious than undercautious.
Yeah. But and Lilypad asked me why that wasn't referring to you. It's something on a corn snake forum. I mean, why was my ball python pink and it was gonna shed?
Oh, but that wasn't. Oh, sorry, that's not what we were saying. Someone on a forum on Facebook asked like why the eyes were blue and like all of that, which is a sign that.
God damn it, Lilypad.
Sorry.
I expect better of you. You need higher level questions. Lilypad asked the most. That's why it was funny and like she felt bad because she asked like the best questions ever, and then when their answer was he's in shed, then she's like, oh, I feel silly for asking that. But Valiant Faint's here.
You know what's funny?
What?
Your brother, since he's watching right now, he's probably the oldest one in this chat. By
children older than all the people in this chat.
20 years. Oh, you know, Evan's in there. Never mind. Evan's usually the oldest one in there. I feel.
Evan, I'm not sure how old Evan is.
Let's take a guess.
32.
Absolutely not.
Where is he?
He was just answering. How old's your brother?
What was he? He's 37. He's old. Right? I think he's 37. My mom's now the oldest. The fact that they're all here is really
cute.
Weird. No.
Family time.
Oh, God.
Mom and brother.
The fuck? What are we talking? Oh, there you go.
There's Evan talking about people who don't know about their snakes.
Maybe we'll catch up. Maybe we're on delay. But
okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like the download is like people, and then there's more like a younger crowd on YouTube and stuff like that. Which is why
that guy's 39. Oh wait,
there you go.
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot.
Don't worry.
There's a lot of children, but his parents are both here. And his brothers. So
maybe I think it's really just all the older people
they don't talk as much. Yeah, the kids talk.
But I mean, I feel like we have a good mix of like younger YouTube people that we want to talk to and like hardcore snake people
that
we
older.
Want to talk to.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to play to both crowds because I feel like we have people from all over.
And your niece is watching.
And then like a lot of times,
this is so strange.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of the cursing thing that don't.
Wait, a lot of people have been telling us?
No, it happens on occasion.
On occasion,
you know, if someone has a criticism, that's what it is about the cursing. But
ouch.
I don't curse that much on a normal basis, but sometimes when
alcohol's involved.
And last weekend I came home from drill, so I'm sure that
you're a little more heated,
cursing a little bit more than usual.
Because your time at drill just because everything's out the window.
Much.
Ugh, that's so weird. I don't know how it works. Okay, so what other snake stuff? do we have to talk about?
It's really kind of shutting down. It's gonna be boring because gotta put everyone back, and it's like, what are we gonna do as far as prep? Maybe we'll have to take like Instagram pictures. Evan's 38 for everyone who was wondering out there. And I guess I'm gonna keep all my yearling corn snakes up. I'm not gonna brumate them. And the green tree, I'm just gonna put it on the porch and let it cool down. And the water python, I'll do
Why?
everything. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, you're really confusing me.
The only ones that are gonna go into brumation are all the hognose and stuff like that.
And the corn snakes adults. What is a Stimson's python?
Stimson's python is in the genera Antaresia. I don't.
Okay.
It just was Stimson's pythons ? So I was wondering if that was a question or a statement.
I don't know. Oh, wait, no. Lily Pod was saying actual Ice Cube is 48, not you, Evan.
But so I guess W Webb, that guy, I guess, is breeding Mexican black king snakes for the first time this year.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
We really, really wanted to do that.
What's gonna be worse is we're gonna like finally get a female, and then they're gonna eat each other or something.
Okay, don't jinx us.
Yeah, but we still gotta get a female because we just buy males, of course. Someone
said males should not be roommated.
I've never heard that. I don't know if I said that by accident or what came off that I may have said that, but no, everyone gets brewmated. Just the yearlings, I'm just not going to, just as a space issue, just because I don't want to buy all new tubs for them. I'm afraid of them escaping something I may put them in, so I'm just going to keep them out here. I may just turn all the heat off their racks and feed them less
to cool them down a little bit.
Totally not feed them for a couple months and then put them up. Either way, everyone's going to get a little nap, I think, no matter what, or a little cease in activity, whether it be feeding or heat or all those things combined. So in a perfect world, I would have a situation where I could just roll whole racks into a certain situation and cool it down, you know, like a whole cold room or something like that. It's hard to do here in Dallas also. So what we have is like something that's basically off the side of our deck, but it's not really like encroached by nature because we're on the third floor and stuff like that. But
what does that mean? Encroached by nature?
I'm not putting it in like a shed outside is what I'm trying to get the impression.
Such a weird word.
It's not like I'm putting them outside, you know, it's just a storage area that is
outside. Like, yes.
But I'm not telling people to put them, you know, like normal people would put them in their garage is kind of, so that's our equivalent to
cold area. Gotcha.
Yeah, so
gotcha. But don't put it like outside.
But I'm saying, like, if we had a garage, I just push all the racks in there and life is
okay.
Good, you know. But that's not how we're rolling.
Your mom said one of their snakes escaped.
Ew. And the dog was playing with
Wait, what? How was the dog? Okay. Why does the color of the tongue correspond to the health of the snake? I've never heard that.
I've never heard that, and I don't know if that's true. If it is true with a random species, then it's like a random one. It's probably not a good marker for anything because in our captive species, they're all different colors because of whatever genetic mutations are going on. So, I mean, you have some different snakes with different colors tongues just because of genetic mutations. So, I don't know. Like jungle carpets, their whole mouth is pretty much blue and their tongues are blue and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
I did not know that. Like blue tongue skinks.
Yeah, not quite like that, but yeah, pretty much. Right?
W Webb said his snake room is 16 by 11. I don't know how to imagine things like that.
16 by 11.
Is that big?
It has 22 snakes and 14 tarantulas. So I guess he's trying to figure out how to brumate too. I mean, if you live in the Northeast, it's super easy. Just like,
but with spiders and stuff.
No, I don't know anything about that. You would have to obviously separate everything.
Right.
I don't know how spiders work, but
But in the Northeast, you said you can just like put it by the window. Isn't that what you used to do?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just whatever gets the coolest. And I mean, if it doesn't get to 55 degrees, not a big deal. Just if it gets down to 70, as long as you stop feeding and there is no light cycle, then you'll be totally fine. So it's not a big deal. So he's in South Carolina, which is more like us, but probably a little bit colder.
A little bit colder.
But so yeah, it's kind of a struggle when in places in the South where it will randomly get like 80 degrees sometimes in the winter. Like there'll be random days it will go from 40 to 80.
And so that messes with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you'd be fine. Everyone, pretty much all the old school people, they just throw them in somewhere where they pretty much get all the elements.
Whatever is going on.
As far as the temperature goes on. So I know back in the day, all the Florida people just would like open those big like overhead doors and stuff like that and just let the winter happen, which makes sense because the snakes live down there. I mean, the snakes live here too, but yeah, but I don't really have the balls to do that kind of stuff.
To do what?
To just let them get all the elements and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that
you want
to get
control it all.
And hot. Yeah, I want to have a little control over it. Sometimes it may get a little bit warmer than I want, but what are you gonna do? Hopefully, I mean, you'll have days that hopefully don't get above 80 and that kind of stuff. If it gets to 80, that's not a big deal. That's
I don't think in December it'll get to 80 in Dallas. Like
we'll get in the 70s, but I'm hoping that doesn't correspond to 80 degrees in the closet. So, some spaces just retain heat. And it's, going to be warmer in there probably than the outside air. So if it's 70 outside, hopefully that doesn't mean that it's 80 inside, but who knows? I don't know. That's something that I will just, I'll
just go check it.
Yeah, I'll check the heat all the time as far as, what is that word I'm looking for? Like heat gun it. So I'll look to see pretty much as often as I can how it reacts to the outside world.
Evan says it will get to 80 in December. I don't remember it getting that hot.
It's a lifelong Texan. 38 years of Texas living.
Oh, Jesus. I can't believe you're still drinking that beer, by the way. Does it get better?
I'm doing it just for show at this point.
Has it gotten better?
Mean, you get kind of used to it, but my mouth is getting really dry from it. I don't know.
It's that mouthwash.
Yeah.
Mouthwash in there. Okay. I feel like we're going so slow on our topics. I know. Today.
There's no beer or anything.
You had no person, no people.
36 years. Evan moved from Indiana when he was 2. If you don't know now,
it's the Evan life story. Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Was real Ice Cube born in Indiana? No.
Yeah, definitely. No. Definitely Indiana is where that stemmed from.
That's where he met. That's where he met Dr. Dre. In Indiana. Come on.
I wanted to think really quick in a way to make Compton into something Indiana-ish, but I couldn't think.
What is Indiana-ish?
I don't know. That's why it's hard.
There's no Indiana-ish.
No, that's Nebraska, right?
How do snakes shed one piece, but their individual scales?
I don't know. We've had stuff,
dang. You told her to ask the good questions, and now she's stumping you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not a question for me.
But isn't there skin or there's something under the scales, right?
I mean, there's skin, but I'm sure it's all, I don't know. The keratin layer comes off of everything.
Right, I think there's something else that comes off too than just.
I don't know. I don't want to sound stupid.
Okay.
So I really don't know. If I don't know, then I'm not going to
attempt to answer. Yeah. Sorry.
What?
I'm just reading people. Yeah, I'm trying to read, and I thought actual gaming thing was funny. So half the time the weather is.
Webb said he bought food storage tubs.
What is that?
Oh, it's like the Chinese food. So I mean, that would be for like babies. I mean, what I did was just kind of Glad Tupperwares for the babies. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to brewmate if they're that small. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it.
Some people do. Don't just do it all for everyone.
But I'm saying you don't have to change your life into making sure they get
Let the
brumated.
babies get it.
Yeah, I mean, some people think that it will get them into a cycle that will go on with them for years and years to come, but it's definitely not true in corn snakes and most colubrids because there's such a finite trigger of like when you're not eating, when you're supposed to brumate. Your body has to shut down.
They can tell, right?
Yeah, it's like you're making it happen very abruptly because it's not like something like a carpet python or a ball python where they're in an environment that doesn't change as much. So they feel the few degrees dropping during the night and that triggers them. This is a dropping
30
from
degrees,
fucking 80 degrees to 55 degrees, and it's abrupt. And
so even if you haven't brumated them before, like they're gonna feel that effect. Like they can't not, like their body's gonna slow down no matter if you've brumated them before or not. Like it's just it's definitely gonna happen. So there's no need to brumate the babies.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I had Tony like 10 or 11 years before I ever bred him, but as soon as I brumated him, and the female that also wasn't bred for like 6 or 7 years, once I brumated them, they automatically just did what corn snakes do. So I mean, that's just,
sorry. Someone said something very funny on Instagram.
What?
They were saying how white you are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's bad
but it's
lighting.
Also the light is really bright.
And I didn't know that this one's just completely on me, which is really, really bad. But yeah, it looks like the sun is like
he said your thighs are white, boy. It's glaring from the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, the light is reflecting right off of them.
Is that better?
Just right in the middle of it.
I'll come back in it. I mean, the lighting's the worst.
You're getting our Bill Stiegel shirt in perfect
Phoenix
focus.
Reptiles, but you can't. No one can tell except for Evan.
There you go.
Got it. We'll just zoom into it. What can I do?
No, I don't think it works like that.
Zoom in. Wait, I had a totally random question.
Yeah.
That you won't necessarily know the answer to. But do you think Big Cheese Rodent Factory goes into a like they lose sales in like December, January?
No, because they haven't had shit for like 6 months.
Okay.
So fucking, once they get about your anger, maybe we can buy something. No, I'm not angry about it at all. That's just the fact is that they've colubrids are a lot less of their business than ball python.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a few big colubrid people here, but for the most part, they stay into mice and stuff like that. Mice stay in stock, but when you're talking small rats, and I mean, that's not really necessary for most colubrids. So that's strictly coming off of ball python breeders and stuff like that. So they haven't had small rats in a while, and that's why. So I think once they get small rats, ball pythons will still eat during breeding season. So it will be fine.
They won't really take a dip.
Yeah. So I think that once they get rats going, then I don't think they really take a dip. Maybe a little bit on the mice end, but I mean, there's always shit that needs to eat, no matter
whether
what.
it's something like no matter what it is. I mean, I didn't think they were gonna be struggling or anything. I just didn't know if like December might be their slowest month or something.
Yeah. Probably.
What's the slowest month in like snake? Oh no, because that just depends on when your snakes are breeding.
Like selling snakes?
Yeah.
Well, there's very clear seasons with that. So it's like October is always a nice time. It also depends on species. So October is a nice time for things like ball pythons or late summer, early fall and stuff like that. You're getting
Lily Pat said your brother's lit.
Oh God.
Talking about how white you are.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, October is a good time for ball pythons.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also the whole summer is really good for ball pythons. But, they're laying eggs in the winter or late spring. So if you catch those summer shows or even into the fall shows, they're, fresh babies. Colubrids are kind of the same deal, but it can get kind of wonky depending on when you're brumating. And, for us, we didn't get babies until late summer. So the fall is going to be a good time for that
for our
too.
selling, right?
But as far as selling goes, well, that was from a buyer's perspective.
Oh,
I guess I meant my bad. But for a seller's perspective, unfortunately, they're pretty much polar opposite of when babies are available, because in the winter you can't sell anything for the most
and
part
it's hard to
because
ship.
shipping.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Shipping's messed up a bit. I mean, you may get some like Christmas presents or some shit, but that will be a very low end, more of a pet grade animal, and then it's going to be hard to ship. But and then you don't have the people like us, the people who spend a lot of money on reptiles, you don't have them buying stuff during Christmas because they're buying, Christmas presents for everyone and they're strapped with all this other shit.
right.
So people aren't necessarily spending their money on reptiles this time of the year, unless it's for a gift for a kid or something like that. And then that's a whole nother issue. Not really an issue, but problems that you can run into just being the time of year.
Yeah.
But those lower animals, I mean, you want to move locally anyway, if possible. But and then as a seller, what is really good is tax time, because
we get extra money.
Everyone just has a random like $2,000 or whatever to blow on whatever reptile, and that is really when, if you're worried about your animal selling, like just hold on until the spring and then you'll be fine once tax season comes along.
That's so weird that that's connected. I've never heard tax season connected to like anything. Like, I don't know.
Well, you're in a weird industry where that's like, I don't know. I couldn't think of many other industries where there's going to be a giant. I guess there is like things like electronics and stuff like that.
But there's no like, are there are there sales during tax season? Or like when you get your money back? Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe not necessarily, because people have money to blow. So maybe
they're not going to put it on sale.
Yeah, but also, people who are higher middle class and stuff like that aren't getting taxes back. So it's like, it lends to see, I mean, our hobby falls on a lower socioeconomical.
But that's funny that you say it's for lower socioeconomical, but there's shit going for $2,000. Like, y'all have to have money.
No, it's the weird thing, man.
There have to be very, very wealthy people in the snake world to spend money on.
Right, but everyone just buys more snakes.
But you still have to have money for that.
No, I know, but it's gone in a day. So and then just put it as a business expense.
What? If you're just buying it, or I guess, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, we just want to acquire snakes. Like, we don't give a shit mostly about the money you get back. It's not like what happens when all the snake people make money at a show, or
they just go buy more snakes.
They just buy more snakes.
Jeez, that's scary life.
I'm not saying I do that necessarily. Right now, I do that. Hopefully, there'll be a time.
Don't tell me that. You need to not do that.
Well, I'm saying we're going to have to for a while until you get as much stuff as you want. Like,
you're never gonna have as much as you want.
Well, but what would be the point of me selling every animal I make right now? I'm 25. I have 30 years left to breed shit, right? So isn't it much easier for me to breed my own and keep some animals back and then sell animals, and the animals I do sell, I can put a little bit of money back too? And
yes, but I'm not saying you need to consistently keep buying more snakes right now.
But you need to stay consistent, or build up to a base to where, obviously you need to scale much more than 20 breeder animals, which is what we would do if we just stayed where we are right now, right? Like, what's the point of breeding 20 animals, the same animals for 30 years? You got to scale it up.
I'm not
within reason.
Okay. I'm not saying don't buy any more snakes for 30 years, but we can spread it out a little bit till we get some more capital.
Well, no, I'm just saying, though, in order to make, especially at the market we are in, we're more pet quality, lower priced animals with corn snakes. It's a lot different of a mentality of people who do ball pythons, who may sell $1,000 snake and stuff like that. So we're in a different game. We're in a numbers game, and they're in a pyramid scheme. So
don't say that one. We're gonna have a ball python person on soon.
Well, no, but they'll probably agree with that.
Really?
It's very obvious. Only the people at top prosper, and you're always trying to get. So what happens is someone comes out with a new gene from Africa. In order to stay legitimate, the highest guys need to go spend 30 grand on something out of Africa just to stay consistent. I mean, you may make 100 grand one year on ball pythons, but you better be giving back like 30 of that to some other dude so you can stay on top of the projects. Or hopefully you have some animals to trade and stuff. You know, there's other ways around it. But the fact is that you always have to keep spending large amounts of money to go up. For us, it's more of a wholesale business. It's more of a pet store type of idea. So much more agricultural minded, as far as at the end of the day, you need numbers to get out, because we can sell a whole bunch of snakes. You know, there's so many ways to sell snakes, and they're relatively easy to sell, but you know, because they're low priced and in a market, in the pet market, which everyone, you know, there's so many new people coming in all the time. And then you have some corn collectors and stuff like that. We have some high end stuff for that. But really what you're looking to get is numbers, because get another good squeak. Because the fact is that it's not much harder to keep 25 adult females. It's not much harder to keep 100 of them. So
you say so.
As long as you systematize everything. And the fact is that, I mean, you're just working with animals that aren't very high on the price.
Lily Pad called me an Oreo, which I've been called many times in my life.
Very, yeah, it's a good observation. I've
been made fun of that many times growing up, so that cuts deep.
Is Lily Pad
that cuts
the blonde
deep?
Oreos?
No, Asians aren't blonde, or I guess yellow, but she's not a yellow one.
What? This is getting really offensive.
She is offensive to me first. Sorry. Lily Pad said, do venomous snakes recycle their venom when they consume their bitten prey?
No, I don't think it's a 1-for-1 exchange. I mean, I may not be right, but I think they take the energy from the animal that they just digested and put it towards energy to produce venom. So, I mean, just like anything else in their body, energy goes to something.
But it goes back in when they eat it.
Yeah, but I don't think it necessarily gets turned into venom again.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just kind of.
And I don't know how that works.
But if a venomous snake bites another venomous snake,
most of them aren't going to feel anything. Most reptiles aren't going to feel anything.
That's what I was thinking.
Whether they built up an immunity to it or just for some reason doesn't affect them for some kind of way.
Even when it's the hemotoxin versus neurotoxin.
Yeah, I don't think it seems to matter as far as I mean, you see king snakes mostly eat venomous snakes in the wild.
Like, I didn't know that. And it doesn't
maybe not mostly,
them.
But they eat a lot of venomous snakes, a lot of small rattlesnakes and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect them at all. And I mean, it doesn't affect, as far as I don't know great examples, but I mean, king cobras eat each other and that kind of stuff.
Well, it's fine. Okay. Jason Morrow said y'all gonna be at Repticon this weekend.
I didn't even know there was a Repticon this weekend.
It's probably not in Dallas.
Maybe, but I mean, we kind of don't. It wasn't really on our radar at the beginning of the Repticons.
Yeah, we went to one, right? In Arlington.
Yeah, maybe we'll. I mean,
I'm gonna be out of town.
But whatever. I don't know. It's hard. There's too many shows in the Dallas area, I feel. I mean, that's a problem across the board.
No.
There's so many shows.
Not in Dallas. If you like Dallas area. Like,
DFW.
Yeah.
But it's like, it just seems like the reptile shows used to be such a big event to go to.
But now there's so many.
As far as like you would wait for there was twice a year. And now it's like there's one every week somewhere, you know? So it's lost its
But that's a good
luster,
thing, because
but
people
I mean,
get out there, and always a chance for new people to come to it and everything.
And if they're all making money, I guess that makes sense. Get it with a C.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Rising Miami said, fuck Christmas presents. I need a new rack.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it turns into.
Well, I have a feeling his Christmas present is going to be snake related. And Paris is getting a Hog Island boa for Christmas.
Very, very cool.
Oh, Lord. How did they get on talking about Brian? I think they started talking about Brian.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. What's happening? Webb said, I wish I had an extra 2,000. I'm buying a house and need extra. House or snake? You would choose snakes over a house. I know you would. And Evan said, just let him take the chondro. Walmart has a 44 quart for $788.
I think we got the long 41s is what we got. Or no, we got regular.
For the ones in the closet?
Yeah.
We got regulars.
I thought they were kind of expensive.
They were like $5 at Target.
I forget what the fuck they are. What, 34?
34. I think they're 34. But they had the snappies. So I think that makes it more expensive to have the little snaps.
They're too expensive sometimes.
I know.
When it gets in like high quantity.
When you're buying 20 at a time.
It's so much better though. Imagine if you had to buy all glass aquariums and shit like that.
Much
or
cheaper.
Like even display cases or display cages rather, as far as like if you had retics and stuff like that.
Those are expensive. How much are those?
I don't know. You'd have to look up the price. People just Google 6-foot cage. There you go.
Okay. I bet Lily Pad can tell us the price.
Probably like 200 and something, probably up to 300 for some builders. I think places like JMP or JMG or JMP Reptilia or whatever has really cheap cages, but I mean, cheap things are cheap and expensive things they're a little bit better sometimes. So you never know. I haven't tried any of those, so I'm not condoning or
to see what it is.
But yeah.
Lily Pad said we got a gold digger for snakes over here. What is she talking about, me or herself?
I guess for you. I don't know.
What?
No, maybe I don't know.
Oh no, but obviously your brother likes her. He said Lily Pad killing it. Everyone likes Lily Pad.
Yeah, she really has the best question. I kind of want to put on this fan, man. It's getting pretty hot in here.
Okay. I'm just gonna continue reading chats. That's one good thing about wait, why am I talking to both microphones? I'm an idiot.
Do you know what's yours now?
Yes. The one good thing about having just you and I is that like we get to answer more people's questions.
We get to have more one-on-one interaction. Oh, people saw my bottoms.
Oh, Jesus, you're not wearing good shorts. Thank God you're wearing shorts.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're wearing shorts.
Yeah, whatever.
That could have been really bad.
Yeah, it's more of a one-on-one with everyone who's watching and whatnot. It's been a while since we've done this. I mean, there's not like too much crazy stuff that's happened in the collection, and
Evan says we should have Brian on so he can roast him. That would honestly be so
I've
bad.
I thought about the fact like if we had Brian on or something.
He wouldn't do it.
I don't know. I'm not against. I've said this a lot of times.
I'd feel so awkward.
Ways. I'm not against him. I'm not anyone to say who does whatever. I mean, I think he is leading the way as far as getting people into the hobby, as far as the video stuff goes. I do it. I pay attention to him just for the YouTube aspect because I'm interested in growing our YouTube channel. So I'd be stupid not to look at what the most popular people on YouTube are doing. And he's the only one that's the level of success that is he's setting precedence for everyone else. And he is, I think, a well-meaning guy at the depths.
I would just feel really awkward to have him on. Also, I know we'd have to review Evan. Oh, yeah, I did see that.
But I mean, I would love to talk to him just to like get his perspective history-wise on everything that happened. You know, I'm pretty sure he grew up with Mike Bell. Like they lived right next to each other. That's like Reptile Industries. That's like the biggest, people who stemmed out two of the biggest, companies in our industry. I mean, BHB is not close to as big as some of the wholesaler and stuff like that. But it would still be really interesting about interesting to hear about the history and where they come from. And
if we could
all the
keep it
different
just to
things.
that, yes, I agree.
And
but
then
it would
also, it's
not.
like, how does it feel to be someone who worked their whole life to be in like a legit snake guy, reptile guy, and then all of a sudden everyone hates you for like every reason?
Okay, well, you can't ask him that question if we had him on. Like,
well, no,
are you kidding me?
It's just like your whole hobby that you contributed to your whole life now turned their back on you, and it's like, imagine if I mean, I wouldn't do the things that he does, step for step, but imagine if it's stupid to say because it's not going to happen. Imagine if we were like as big as Brian. I'm just saying. You put yourself in
purely
his shoes.
hypothetical. Mm-hmm.
Very hypothetical. And all of a sudden, people fucking hate you for like, and you're like, shit, man. Like, I thought I was finally successful. I did all these things. I got all these things. I accomplished all this shit, and all of a sudden, everyone hates me for it. You know, that's what I feel. That's why I would feel bad for him. Like,
so you're planning on bringing this up to him if we had him on? Like, I don't get where you're going
not in
here.
particular, but I mean, you would have to. I don't give a shit. I would say it because I don't know. It's kind of fucking a weird thing because you're so popular, but you're now for some reason unpopular within the hobby
sorry.
itself.
I don't like that.
What?
Paris commented on how I was holding the microphone for my grip on the microphone. And now I feel very uncomfortable.
Well, for him, girls usually use 2 fingers. So.
Oh my God. This is so bad.
What the fuck? So it's like that's why I would be so interested to talk to him because, you know, that seems like kind of a nightmare scenario. You work so hard for putting out videos every day. I admire that and the hard work it takes to do that. And it's not like he's not a knowledgeable snake person. He's been breeding snakes for fucking like 30 years or something. So he's just maybe a little bit old school and does some silly shit sometimes, but I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading all these.
That's what you're just making me rant more, but you're not even
okay.
What cool? Doing good at reading.
Well, I didn't want to read it all. It's a little bad. But what cool morphs can you make with a butter motley?
I don't know, man. Anything. Just get something else and put it together.
Anything?
Nothing off the top of my head. I don't have that great depth of knowledge on all the different corn snake mutations all put together. Honestly, I probably have more of an idea of ball python stuff. But
really? I feel like you know so much about.
No, because the names.
Well, you weird. Know what
I went through all the trouble to remember like all the ball python shit. That now all the corn snake stuff is just overwhelming too. Because I wish it was just anery, amel, something else. You know, instead of. Or I kind of wish it was instead of honey, it was just caramel sun-kissed. It would make my life a lot easier.
Because that explains what it is.
Yeah, but and then you get into blood red and diffuse, which are all the same thing, but it's just either different lines of the gene or the blood red are just bred to be more red. So it's like you get some things that are considered mutations at this point, but it's really just a line bred form of a certain mutation.
They just did different things with it.
Yeah, so it's like can be kind of hard to like I wish it was more like when you did a blood red phase diffused, or you just did diffused that's just a really good looking diffused or something. I don't know, man.
So what does motley show up as? Like what is I know it like tesseras, like what does motley do? Or what is
motley makes pretty much circles down the back of the corn snake.
Okay. And are butters like yellow?
And orangey yellow, yeah.
Okay. So any other orangey yellow thing?
No, I mean not necessarily. A lot of times you need to mix it up, but there's so many different things. But someone asked what the temperament of corns. They can be kind of squirrely and kind of all over the place sometimes, but they don't bite.
They don't bite. For the most part, they're pretty calm.
Yeah.
Once they get past what?
They're just small.
8 months, 6 months. They're pretty calm.
Yeah, just get past the first few months and they're little crazy babies, but
Oh gosh, I'm getting too behind.
Oh no,
I'm
you're
getting
way
too
behind.
behind because we were actually talking. I had to listen. I couldn't do.
Oh, they're just talking about Skype, Valiant, and Lily.
No, but your brother said Melissa needs to ask the tough questions. I don't know what question.
Yeah, I guess to bar check. This is when we were talking about.
Oh yeah, about Brian.
Oh man. Whoa. We just got to a weird.
Oh, because you talked about Valiant's little This is so bad. Oh, okay. Sorry. Raz is from New Orleans. Well, he is raised in Metairie, which doesn't count.
I don't know. Evan feels very strongly about that, but I mean, he didn't piss in your cornflakes personally. So.
Butter Motley is Motley, Amel, and Caramel. Okay, I didn't know that.
What?
He said Butter Motley is Motley, Amel, and Caramel.
I see. I should probably know that kind of shit.
Should know that.
You know, whatever, man.
Someone made fun of me for the babies. Yes, we'll see. Next year will be a real big test of how scared I am of the babies.
I mean, you may not have to, do any.
Well, you won't have drill again, so you'll be out of the military by then. So
yeah, and Valiant fan says stop disrespecting your viewers.
Someone's definitely said that in comments.
Someone, which I'm always very nice to people. Like I try to be very objective in the comments, but you made me put something mean to someone. It was really objective until he called you a twat, so you wanted me to call him a twat.
No, I didn't. I said say something mean. You chose to say the word twat.
Semi-nice, but I just put twat.
You put twat at the end.
And then someone was like, I can't believe you're calling your viewers twats, but he called you a twat first. The only reason why I said it. So it's like, why?
Like multiple people got on us.
Unsubscribed. I'm like, perfect. Get the fuck out of here. You're a twat.
I mean,
it's kind of weird that we have, you see the same people over and over again, and we know, you get to know everyone who comments all the time on YouTube and stuff like that.
Lilypad made a good shirt for us. That's pretty good. It's one of Joe's favorite lines. Wait, your niece is listening. I don't want to show it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of that word stuff we don't need to.
Don't need to.
But, we
show your
we
niece.
Do that sometimes.
Yeah, but now that I know she's listening, we'll definitely try to.
No, we just do what we do. She's heard stuff before. Was she
but we can't add to it. Doesn't mean we add to it.
No.
I mean, I'm sure she's heard your brother curse.
That's the thing.
all the time.
This probably isn't the first one she's heard. So.
Okay, this is the most tame one because you've only had half a beer.
Yeah, because it's literally that disgusting that I can only have half a beer in about an hour. But whatever.
That doesn't ever happen with you.
What are we?
I don't know what else to talk about.
What else do you want to buy?
I already told you. I want California King and a lavender California King. Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's all I want.
I think I want to get. I don't know if it's Pantherophis right now, Pantherophis triapsis, or a Laphe triapsis. Maybe Pantherophis. Sometimes I get confused, but the green rat snake, like one of those Western green rat snake, not those Asian ones. They're totally different.
Lilypad. I'm joking.
Wow, getting racist again.
Keep going.
Wow, Lilypad.
Sorry.
What was I? Oh, so them or eventually I really want to.
Oh wait, I want a mandarin. I forgot that.
I was just about to say that. I really would like to start a Asian colubrid side of the collection where we had mandarins or 100-flower rat snakes and that stuff.
What did you just say? 100-fly?
100-flower?
100-flower. Why is it called a 100-flower?
1,000-flower sometimes, or 100th-flower. I'm pretty sure it's 100-flower, but it's Mullendorfi. I don't know how many zeros.
That's on the super end random 100-flower. That just.
I think it's because it's so pretty. It's got red and green.
It's got 100 flowers.
It's Asian stuff. I know how you don't like Asian stuff. So
I love Asian food.
How dare you?
We just had Chinese the other day. Shut up.
Wow. Yeah, and it was called Betty's, and it was made.
Yeah, it was the
fucking
worst.
white people.
It's
So
the-
that's not
it
even
wasn't
true.
Actually, I didn't even try it. How was it?
It was okay.
Okay, better than Snoopy.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Your mom said she wants to ship you home for Christmas.
Okay, good luck.
You want to buy his plane flight?
There you go. What else? Mandarin. If we could get mandarins and king rats and all the different Asian rat snakes and all the different Asian stuff, and then also Baird's rat snakes and Everglades rat snakes, scaleless Everglades rat snakes.
Someone asked
everything.
Someone asked about thoughts on scaleless. We both love scaleless. I don't like the ones where you can really see like the insides. Those gross me out. Some of the scaleless, Texas rat snakes and the snows, some of those are weird to me. But like the darker or the orangey scaleless, I think look really cool.
Yeah, even just the normal corn snakes, but they're just super red or super yellowy, orangey.
Right. I still like when they have like a pattern on them and are scaleless. But like the ones that are just like nothing, they look like worms.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know why I don't want scaleless corn snakes as much as I want scaleless other rat snakes. I think it's just because, like, I feel like I see so many people with scaleless rat snakes now, and I see the big people with scaleless rat snakes, or scaleless corn snakes rather. So it's like I'm not seeing
do different.
I'm not talking like I don't see anyone with scaleless Everglades anymore. But I think you can make a market for it if you market it as because they're cheap and like they're still scaleless rat snakes. I mean, a corn snake's just a rat snake. So it's like, what is the difference? But I also see people on like a wholesale level. Like, you see how many Forest has produced this year?
Everything Forest produces.
People who don't have corn snakes are producing hundreds of these scaleless corn snakes. And every ball python breeder, you're like, oh yeah, and I got a group of scaleless corns too.
Really? Why?
Like,
just because
I don't know. That's like a project that people are in.
Everyone's getting on.
So it's like maybe I don't want to do. I don't want to get part of that.
Can we have Forrest on in the future? I know he was on NPR recently, but like in January or February, can we have Forrest on?
I mean, if you want to hit him up.
But is it weird to hit him up now for January?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want to talk to him. He just produces some of the coolest shit. Like, Zoo Dreams is just literally Zoo Dreams.
Yes, that's like Zoo Dreams on Instagram. If you don't know who Forrest Fanning is. Plus, you can look at his interview on NPR or on, I think he was on like Snakes and the Fat Man or something like that. He was on
everything.
A different podcast, but yeah, recently he's been on
also, anyone in the UK, especially Paris, you should check out Michael Douglas Warrington. Is that his name?
Yeah.
He has some of the coolest corn snakes.
And tell him to be
ever.
on the podcast because he doesn't want to be on it.
Oh, yeah. He told us no. But we still like his stuff.
Yeah. Some people don't like to be on the cameras.
And this great lighting. Like, who wouldn't want to be on this? Let me tell you.
The weird thing is that, like, it's also one thing to have people come in and do voice, but people are also don't like to be seen, I think.
Yeah, they should see. I mean, we put up our mattress.
I'm 0% cognizant of what I'm looking, my outward appearance right now. I'm not like
we did not try.
Like I'm not even looking at the camera.
We both look terrible right now. Yeah, you're super ADD right now.
Anything for any type of camera. I'm just sitting here and talking. So it may look terrible, but I mean, whatever. Okay, so Webb asked a question about brumation. You're the reader.
I'm the reader. Excuse me. Do you have to go temp-wise to 55 and not feed, or 65 and will they not need to eat? Temp-wise, I don't think I can get it to 55.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. What you want is just manipulate as much as you can, a cooler temperature and no eating. So last year, my closet only got down to maybe about 70 degrees, maybe in the high 60s
for corn snakes.
And all I did was not feed them. And once I put their heat back on and started feeding them more, they acted just as if they brumated at 55. Really no different. I don't know how that would work across 20 snakes. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe if there were 20 snakes, then 15 of them would have been fine, but 5 would have been bad or wouldn't have bred or gotten the idea. But I think most of them would. But I don't know. I don't have a big enough sample size to say definitely do that because it works every time because I only did it once.
It worked for us.
It worked for me. And it's worked. And I mean, people have shown that there's different ways to do it. So it's really not. Lily Pad and Valiant Fan
they're going very intense. Yeah. But Lily Pad said, so king snakes eat other snakes. Is there a limit on how long the snake is? Can a snake be too long to eat? But like, think about snakes eat stuff bigger than their body all the time.
Yeah, but not necessarily longer.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's a weird question. Is there anything a king snake won't eat? Do you think it would eat people food? What
do you mean? It will eat chicken and stuff like that.
Like lasagna. I'm not gonna give it to him, but say it found lasagna in the trash in the wild. Would it eat it?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm just asking. Would it eat lasagna?
No. Are you fucking 4 years old? Would it eat fucking lasagna?
I don't know. They eat everything. You said it eat chicken.
Right, but that's an animal product of some sort. It's not fucking lasagna.
Okay.
It will eat pretty much any animal.
Okay. Why are you looking at me like you looking? I just asked the question. Lasagna. Okay. Jesus
Christ! So it's like it's gonna forage out there on shit.
I don't know. Lasagna is good.
God.
Elliot is being so mean right now.
Why are you pointing your microphone places? Wow, Lily Pad's really offensive.
This is just ridiculous. I feel bad for anyone who listens to this later. Because they aren't gonna see.
We're so all over the place. Plus, like people are just we're laughing at the live.
They're going very intense in the chat, and
holy shit,
you've done that so many times.
Died out here. What else is there in the world of snakes?
I just want to guess. Let's put Evan on here.
There you go, Evan, come in.
Evan, come on.
We could do that just randomly. We could plug Evan in, give him the link, and he can go on a computer or something. Just have him drop in randomly.
Yeah.
I mean, he is our go-to when we don't have people, but I mean, we can't have him on every week because then it's like we can't do an actual Evan show. Then it's just
she's our normal third person.
It's just the normal show. But I mean, I guess we could do that.
No, we can't. We got to change it up. We still have people now that we had talked to, what's his name, Tony, last week. Maybe we could convince him, and we already talked about it, having him and Melissa on.
That would just turn into a conversation between you two.
Good, because you have the conversation with whatever guest is here every week. Yeah. I'm the secretary every week.
Housekeeping.
Sorry, I was what?
That's what you are. You're keeping house.
I'm housekeeping.
We're going crazy. You're answering questions on the chat and stuff like that.
Okay. They're going way too crazy. Snake stuff.
We had a snake escape from a top bin in the closet.
Yeah, that sucks. We bought a bin from Target that had it's not like a hole, but it's a crack.
It had a crack. We should have looked at it first, but it had a pretty clear crack down the back.
But I didn't think it would be able to get out because it was I don't know, it went to the top.
Yeah, it wasn't didn't make a hole, but I mean they can kind of get out of the tubs if they try hard enough in the first place.
Clearly it did.
Yeah. So, I mean, we put some clips on it and stuff like that, but we found
the snake. That's the main thing.
That the closet was inescapable, but it just went right under the door jamb.
We need to get one of those little things you slide on the bottom of doors so it keeps heat in. You know, my dad bought one
you
growing
can just
up on the
put,
TV
They make
infomercial.
these things called towels.
Shut
You can
up.
put them under there.
But then you have to deal with it every time. These things
Yeah.
slide onto the base of the door.
Yeah, that's like as seen on TV shit.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if it
what my
works every
they
time.
did. My dad bought
Get the
it.
fuck outta
He
here.
bought them when I was growing up, and it was great. And it's supposed to keep heat in, and so that's even what you want to do more in the closet, right?
Yeah, I don't want it to get too stuffy in there too, though. You know, I need to move air around. You never really want like completely stagnant air.
Why?
It's not bad
What
because
will
it's
that
not like
do to
super
them?
humid air, but it's just, you know, what strives in stagnant, hot, humid, everything. You know, so you have bacteria and different stuff, and sickness can grow.
But having the heater in there, isn't that moving
That's
it
gonna
around?
dry out the air.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's still good to have stuff moving around. Like I would love to have still fans and stuff like that going on in the room.
I saw your AP rack. Is that the?
Oh no, D Python. If you would have asked me, he said I saw your AP rack, so I went and ordered the quick ship 612 rack a month ago. Not so quick ship. Yeah, don't expect that rack until you fucking retire or whatever. It will probably be like 4 months, even though they're supposed to already have it there. It will take at least 6 weeks to get out by the very least.
Wait, are the black ones the AP racks?
Yeah. So what I do now is Eric from Tallgrass Reptiles or TDR Rack Systems. That's where we've gotten that's where we got our newest rack that we got. And it's assembled and ready to go. And we bought it and we
got lucky buying it at a show.
Yeah, but even if you buy it from him straight up, I'm pretty sure he just
he's faster than AP.
He's got shit figured out. You can also do payment plans on his website. And this ad was brought to you by TDRX Systems. So just
is there a minimum question?
If you don't want to wait, then just don't.
When you start selling snakes, well, we've already sold snakes, but in the future, do you have like a minimum price for what you would allow a payment plan?
Oh, it's really situational.
Like if you're selling a $200 snake, are you going to let someone do a payment plan?
Silly. I mean, I understand if it's like close to $1,000 or something. I mean, $500 would probably be a reasonable limit.
To do a payment plan?
Do a payment plan.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind. It depends who it is. Also, it's like if you have a person who's been a customer of yours for a whole bunch of time, then it's like cool.
Would you give Lily Pad a payment plan?
No, I'm gonna feed her off.
Someone said, "Do you keep all pythons?" No, he used to. Then he came to his senses. No, that's not it at all. But
how dare you?
You killed half of them.
Wow. That's not 100% true, but Jesus Christ, Lily Pad.
I can't even read half of it anymore.
No, it's offensive, I'd say.
Lily Pad says she's going to eat Dixie.
That is an Asian thing to do. See?
Where is Dixie? I guess she's on the bed.
So always racist.
I wish I had a payment plan when I bought the Darwin albinos. Are those expensive?
That's nice. I mean, now they're probably still around $600 a pair or something if you got pure Darwins.
Okay. So you'd let someone have a payment plan for that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're getting over $1,000, but I would say probably over $500.
Do they do payment plans at shows? Or are you expected to drop it all there?
No, you should give all your money there, or else don't take the animal home. You know, you can't put down 20% and then
take the animal. That makes sense.
How we roll, especially if that's someone that you first met there at the show. The show is a good place to get new customers. So it's like you would do payment plans with someone who already has something established, or you're doing your due diligence to keep the animal until it's all paid off.
That makes
sense. Which, I mean, allows a lot of us to get animals that we wouldn't get otherwise. So,
yeah, nice. I don't know. I'm thinking like Tinley when shit's so expensive. Like, I guess people just go there with that money.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
If you know that Tinley's coming up, I think people just clear up a lot of room on their credit card or something and put it down.
And put it down.
Yeah, because I mean, those dudes, are dropping if you're going and dropping 30K or something.
Holy shit.
I mean, that's just silly ball python stuff, man.
That's insane.
When really all the sustained businesses in our hobby are ones that worked off of, more of a wholesale perspective.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of good ball python people out there, but there's only so much room, I guess, at the top. But I don't really know
pyramid.
much. Yeah, it's the pyramid. So, I mean, I don't want to have to be always chasing a new morph. Plus, I think soon it's going to level out, and it's going to get kind of what the corn snake market is, and sometimes you don't know what's in everything, and there's so many different things that it kind of gets washed out, and it's like people just want the best looking things instead of the most expensive new things. So
always the best looking, and like we've said lots of times, the best looking is subjective.
I think in the long run, though, that's really what works. So as far as, and if you kept albinos for all the years that albino ball pythons were around, like those still sell to this day. But if you invested in the pastel ball python and you've been breeding them, it's going to be not as good of an idea now. Pastels don't sell well now, but albinos still sell really well. So there's just some things that are very appealing to the eye that keep the what would you call that? Like demand for them. So
high.
I feel like something like Palmetto will be that. So
forever.
That's why I did Palmetto. And then all the what else do we have? Things like snow hognose and albino hognose, and I don't know. There's also some things that we keep that like other people very particular, as like olive python.
And your pine snakes are very particular. I feel like
snakes are pretty particular, but if I put those up, they would be bought in a second.
Really?
That's just because that's what I'm taught. Same with probably olives, kind of. Maybe the waters if you actually let people know that they're cool. But yeah, it seems like it just depends. If there's some corners that are so small in the reptile hobby that I would probably be like one of 3 people breeding those pine snakes, and it's not necessarily because people don't like them. It's a supply thing. So I think that that's something that would sell immediately. Not that I'm going to try and sell it for an expensive price, but it will be something that will sell immediately at $300 each for all the babies. So
would you ever breed those?
I'm going to breed them this year. I just didn't really want to talk about it. So, yeah.
I think y'all didn't hear that.
And then Webb asked, how big or old are my het scaleless? I have het palmettos, not het scaleless.
We wish we had het scaleless.
Yeah, it would be nice to have both, but I'd prefer het palmetto over het scaleless at the moment.
Just because you like it better?
Yeah.
Or just still like we said, yeah, or scaleless.
Although scaleless people will always probably like that too. So that would be something cool to have always. And to be honest, just give it a couple seasons and the quantities that are coming out here, you're going to end up paying $300 for them in just a year or two.
Really?
They're at about $500 now.
Damn.
I've been seeing them. So
they'll go down.
They're going down. So it's definitely getting to the place where, everyone can afford them, which is good because it opens it up for that many more people. And I mean, even us, we don't have to really invest in the project, but we have enough genes in play that we could make up time. If we got a scaleless male, we would be just as good off as someone who maybe has 2 het scaleless right now, just because I can put them with
all the other shit.
Put them with a coral gush stripe fucking tessera and then make those. So it's like you can obviously get ahead if you have unique projects. So it's like
you can find a way to jump the gun if you get it.
Yeah, and you're not getting ahead of the game. You're just kind of keeping up. But if it's not your main project, who cares? We could still. What I'm saying is, we could still make cool snakes so that it's not a big deal in the future. I just don't have to go crazy for. I don't have to go crazy and get scaleless right now because, yeah, I feel like less people are into palmettos at the moment. For
I don't know, but they're
reasons,
so cool.
But yeah, I think there hasn't been much out there about them. I think it's been a little bit too mysterious and kind of weird. And on Bill Seals, bug-eyed palmetto was just put out on auction.
That's
I
why
saw a
you
bunch
tagged me in it.
Yeah, I
It was
tagged you in
bug-eyed.
it.
I need to go back and look at it.
Yeah, so because all the big corn snake breeders were saying, oh, like the bug eyes, we're gonna cull all of them. We're not gonna sell them at all. And then all of a sudden, Mike Fedson sold one, and then all of a sudden, there's palmetto bug eyes on Ben Siegel. So someone's auctioning them off. Someone's wholesaling bug-eyed palmettos. I'm not gonna say I'm totally against that, but I am against the fact that they were put out there on a medium where the person who buys it probably doesn't understand that how the bug eye worked and what's going on, and probably to chill with breeding that kind of stuff. But
I did not realize how bug-eyed it was.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Whoa, can I show it?
Someone without prior knowledge may not realize how ridiculous it is, because some rat snakes do have, very, very big eyes and stuff like that. But
I didn't look at it that hard. That is super, super bug-eyed, and it just kind of.
It's not great. All I'm saying, it's not a great representation of the palmetto and the species, and it's being sold. I mean, they did say in the ad it was bug-eyed, but I mean, they don't really mention anything else. But I mean, that's all right, I guess. I mean, it's gonna happen pretty much inevitably over and over again as we're working with this. But
okay, cool.
It's just, I think that if we're going to agree to not sell the bug-eyed ones, then we don't sell the bug-eyed ones. But the gates are lifted, and now
I don't want to cull ours, but I don't know. I feel weird about.
It's hard because I don't think they're gonna have any problem thriving in captivity. So it is a hard call, but it's like
they're just weird.
It's just I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing right now if I had a palmetto and I'm selling it for $500 with bug eyes, because someone's just gonna jump the project and get a cheap snake and put out bug-eyed animals. But I mean,
oh, you got the answer to this question.
I just don't want to be the guy to be selling them. That's all. I don't want
that either,
because all of a sudden you're lumped on one team or the other. So
I just want palmettos, like not bug-eyedness. Just
I don't want
palmettos.
Any polarization of being right or wrong, because there's no right or wrong, and I think it's a hairy situation. So I don't want to be the guy to do it, but clearly some people are making a stand in whether they're pro or against it.
Okay, you have gotten good at answering this question really quickly. Since we've had Travis Weinman on, are bug eyes recessive or codominant, or you got it down?
Yes. So, well, it's hard. People disagree in the corn snake community. I posted a picture today of het palmetto, and you can basically tell all the het palmettos apart distinctly. So I would call the het palmettos an incomplete dominant gene. So in the hobby, ball pythons and shit, people call it codom, but it's not necessarily codom. That's not really how the genes work. They're actually incomplete dominant. So what codom is, if you have I hope this is a decent representation. If you have a black snake, breed it to a white snake, you get a gray snake. And then an incomplete dominant is an impartial showing of a gene that when you breed it together has a full expression. So in this case, het palmetto is kind of a hypo-orangey looking snake, and then put two of those together and you get the palmetto, which is the full expression of this incomplete dominant gene. So I would say that, first of all, the palmetto gene is incomplete dominant. In my opinion, I'm no fucking expert, but that's at least how I see it. And people are saying, hey, you can't really tell some of them apart. Well, you can tell most of them apart, and still there's some variation within the gene to where, a palmetto has more specks or less specks in the super form. So it has it expresses in different ways, basically on a, like Travis Wyman says, on a dimmer instead of an on and off. So it's not just going to be like.
Now you're talking about the bug-eyed, it's not the palmetto.
No, I'm talking about the palmetto. But I'm trying to explain that first to get because it's connected with the genes. So I just want to explain how Palmetto works so that we can learn how the bug-eyed works.
Okay, sorry. When you started talking about the dimmer, I know the dimmer is related to the bug-eyedness too.
But I'm talking about the dimmer as far as you can have one that looks more of the het palmetto expression. Just like you can have shitty pastels and really nice pastels in ball pythons. You've seen some pastel ball pythons where they're like a shitty tannish, a little bit lighter than normal snake, and then you have some that are blazing yellow. So it's like there's variation in there. It's a polygenic look that you may be breeding for. So yeah, like Jackie said, there's different as far as how they're expressed polygenic line breeding. As far as pastels have been going crazy because they've been line bred. The most yellow is the most yellow. So there's just a variation within that expression. But so the bug-eyed happens because the melanocytes, which actually it tells the melanin where to go. So palmetto is kind of a type of leucism. So those melanocytes are saying, fuck all the melanin, put it in random spurts, but it's also sending messages to the formation of the eye saying how to make the eye. So it's fucking up spreading melanin around, which also fucks up the formation of the eye. So it's like the very thing that makes the palmetto possible is what also leads to formation in the eye and deformity in the eye. So the fact is that we can try as hard as we can to get new genes in there and increase the genome of these animals, stuff like that. But quite frankly, just the mechanics of the gene makes it likely that we're always going to have bug-eyed to some degree. And then like people still have, D Python mentioned, bug-eyed Lucy Texas rat snakes. So there are still bug-eyes that come out of those. I was about to burp. That's why I made that.
I heard you holding back.
But yeah, so there are still, and people have been breeding against bug-eyed Texas Lucy's forever. But I mean,
it's still there.
It's still there.
So you're never going to get it out.
We can't both drink at the same time.
Mine hit my mouth
water
first.
After that rant.
Mine hit my mouth
But
first.
I did the talking. What the hell?
Everyone just have to wait. Okay, Lily Pods asked this question twice. Okay. I don't quite understand what she means. How are a snake's lungs placed? How is it not suffocated by the large portion of food?
It's hard to explain. Just look at just go Google the anatomy of a snake. So because everything, it's basically all the normal internal organs, but in one straight line. So it's hard to explain.
So the food just goes around?
Yeah, just look at the anatomy thing.
Okay, gosh, you've been 0 for 3 on her questions.
There's no great way to explain it. And plus, I don't want it to be not 100% correct.
Okay. So. Jackie brought up that several years ago, bug eyes was a desirable thing. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I had heard that back in the day in the rat snake community. Just one of those old school things. Why the fuck am I cracking so much?
Because you're not drinking enough beer.
Yeah, I know. One of those old school things that they actually bred the most mutant, try to get the big
weirdest looking one.
Yeah. Which I guess, I mean, it's kind of doesn't do anything bad, so but I wouldn't do it personally.
I don't know, the bug eyes just creeps me out. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's not. I don't know. It's kind of like, should we breed for scalelessness also? But that obviously has no effect. If the buggers have no effect, maybe we can't judge that much.
Right. It's just what we like. I don't know. It's just
we all of a sudden drew these lines
that we don't. Right. We don't like it.
So I guess I drew that line, but only because it's a popular line to draw. If everyone goes the other way, then maybe my line will get a little bit less.
No, hold your ground. Like it or don't like it. You gotta decide.
Yeah, but it's hard to where if people know how to deal with bug-eyed palmettos in the market, if there's a thing that we all do, then I would feel decent enough to do that just to further the project and be consistent across the board. So, I mean, it's just being respectful of the market. And there's so many, you go to a snake show and people have all these snakes on the table, especially with ball pythons. You all have the same shit, really. stop acting like you're special. You all got the same shit. So,
Okay.
so it's like someone's bumblebee. This is a bad example because these are using genes that aren't cool enough anymore. But if someone's bumblebee is 250 and another person's bumblebee is 200, like people undercutting, you know, you want to be respectful and don't undercut everyone. But
Okay.
but that's your game to play, really. But
Gotcha. That makes sense. Lilypad said, are there different scale shapes?
yes. So as far as there are a bunch of keeled scaled species like the pine snakes in comparison to
That's the ones that
so the pine
backwards?
snakes or the hognose snakes have keels. I believe there's a couple different ways keels happen, but this one in particular is like just a raise in the middle of the scale. So that's what gives it that rough
look,
that rough feel and look. But and it's just extra protection, I guess you could say, on the snakes.
But they don't look any different in the shed, right?
No. But then you have some snakes that are smoother than others, or you know, if you have your water python, they're very, very smooth scaled. And then you have some that have pretty big coarse scales. You have ones that have small scales. If you look at head, there's a reason why people can tell one species from another by doing scale counts. There's some animals who have, like, if you look at a lot of the green tree heads, it's all comprised of a million little scales. When you're looking at the corn snakes, the main part of their heads like comprised of like 6 scales. You know,
really, I've never noticed that.
They have much bigger, weirder shaped scales on the head. And yeah, so scale count and scale size and scale shape and the keeled and not keeled. If you're looking at something like there's some eyelash vipers, I forget the species that has the really weird scales that keel and stick out, but yeah, there's a few different ones.
Someone said, how about size? But I don't know what they're referencing.
Yeah, so maybe that's scale size. But
your mom said, wouldn't bug-eyedness be susceptible to eye issues?
I don't, as long as the ocular scale's still in
place, covering
I don't see how it would be any different, but maybe, I don't know.
So
there's the bush viper. There you go. So yeah, like Jackie explained, the bush viper
knows
with
their
scales
stuff
that are kind of like feathered out. But yeah, that's a good way to explain it. It looks like a duck or something just came out of the water. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, they kind of stick out.
Gotcha. How often should I feed my baby corn snake?
Depends how much of a baby, but you should do once a week with a appropriate sized meal.
Pinky.
Yeah, but it also depends on how big it is. I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard sometimes.
And then they said yes about the how about size. So I don't know if we answered their question.
Scale and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would the ocular scale on a bug-eyed snake look different?
I'm guessing it'd be bigger, right?
Just bigger?
Yeah. But I think it still forms the same. Kind of a weird thing about scaleless, right? It's that they still have ocular scales, or if it's a scaleless corn snake or rat snake, they still have belly scoots and, you know, in other words, scales on the bottom of their belly. Ball pythons do not. That's why they're warty little
gross
wieners. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, so I don't know exactly why it's so favorable, but for some reason, obviously, like the scales, the scales have been able to form just on the eyes and not anywhere else. I don't know. We kind of asked Travis Wyman about it a couple of times, but he's just kind of like, there's no, you know, obviously something made this gene survive, and, you know, ocular scales is obviously an important part of the snake's life. And just, there's so many different ways genes can express themselves. For some reason, there's the keeping the belly scales way, and the not keeping, and the not living. And
we don't understand any of it. Man, it just happens. Stuff.
Yeah.
We can't tell you why or why not. And I don't know, kind of some water.
Yes. Oh, I just gave you the microphone instead of water. But there's just so many different genes and different things we're playing with, and a lot of, I mean, the hobby is kind of a little bit newer than a lot of people think it is. As far as 20 years isn't that mature of a.
I thought you talked about in the 70s and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm talking about no one cared about captive breeding until like pretty late in the game. People were just worried about keeping things alive. So really, even say the 90s, before the ball pythons went crazy, the only things that were maybe captive bred at the shows and stuff like that were like corn snakes. Otherwise, no one was captive breeding shit. Maybe some native North American colubrids, but they were very few and far between. If you went to your reptile show, it was mostly going to be dealers dealing with shit that they don't even know what they have.
Just put it on the table.
Yeah.
Oops. Just put it on the table.
It was a little bit weirder of an industry, I guess, compared to it is now. It is a little bit bigger than.
It's more normalized for sure. So it's not sketchy.
Well, not. Yeah, I mean, it's evolved.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing. Like, we got to keep on moving forward instead of moving backwards or so.
Oh my gosh, I can't stop yawning.
But yeah, Jackie mentioned that most of the extreme ball python morphs didn't show up until the 2000s. I mean, but you have your, I believe Pastel May came in like 98 or something like that. Or I think Albino came in the early 90s. I'm not exactly sure. But once those came in, people were late 90s, early 2000s when people were importing like hundreds of thousands of ball pythons out of Africa. They still do like 50,000 ball pythons out of Africa. I don't know why.
It's crazy. Don't we have enough here?
There's just no reason
to keep pulling.
Yeah.
Like, we got so much shit here. Greedy. Just like,
there's
why?
People basically trying to fucking throw out their baby ball pythons because they can't sell them. I mean, they're normals. Damn. I mean, they're just trying to move them in some way, but just normals have become so undesirable.
Basic.
I don't know why, but it's easier for me to sell a normal corn snake than it is to sell.
Sorry, Dixie was freaking out.
Than it's to sell a normal ball python, and I don't really know why that is.
How do snakes act when they don't have any eyes?
I don't know. I haven't hatched one out with no eyes, but plenty of people have, and it's kind of a hit or miss type thing. I don't think most of them I don't think make it, which is weird because you would think for snakes that's like the least useful sense that they have.
Yeah, they have their senses.
They don't see very well, and when they're shed, they sometimes can't see at all. But if you think about it, sometimes when they're shed and they can't see, they don't eat. So maybe that has some type of bridge as far as snakes don't eat if they can't see at all. I don't know.
But they're not even like, I don't know. I can't talk. Half the time they're not using their sight to even eat. I feel like they're just smelling and going after.
Right. So but I don't know. I don't know why.
What it could be.
No.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they don't eat. That's all.
Very interesting.
I don't know why. They don't talk when I ask.
Oh.
But it's whatever.
Really? Your ball pythons don't talk to you?
Yeah, all my ball pythons. None of them out of all of them. None of them.
The olive talks to me all the time.
Yeah. And then Jackie mentioned there's a Brian Butt Cheeks.
Bart
Cheeks. Yeah, I guess he has no eye.
I think I saw that video.
I think he's been force feeding it since it's been born, so that's a good sign. I'm sure it'll do great. I mean, people. It's hard, especially when you're getting into people who are new to this. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Sometimes you go see these kind of rescue situations, or even if there's like some rescue zoos and shit. And it's like, maybe
really? I didn't know that exists.
Maybe that animal, it would be better off not keeping it alive. Like, it's like you're putting your emotions into it so much that you're like, let me keep that thing alive instead of like
end its misery.
Like in the wild, it's no different. It would be dead so quick, and it doesn't do any good to keep something that you need to assist feed every time it eats. But I mean, people who are keeping coral snakes or something would disagree, but that's a different situation. Those are people who may be milking coral snakes and stuff like that. But that's just something.
Wait, what? Milking coral
All right,
snakes?
so coral snakes are notorious for not.
Gotta get her.
Is that gonna help? Yelling?
Sorry, she usually comes when I yell. She comes. She
Right.
can't get
Oh,
into
she can't
either
get
of
in.
the doors.
There's doors aren't open. So milk snakes, for the most part, don't eat rodents in captivity. They might eat snakes, but getting a steady diet of snakes that are small enough for a coral snake to eat may be hard. So for the most part, they actually pump them full of food. So they have like pinky pumps and stuff where they'll just put a tube down its mouth and pretty much tube feed it its whole life. So
disgusting. Also, what's the
but
point?
that's also to keep them alive so that they can milk them for venom. So they're a venomous snake, so it's important to have their venom. Yeah.
Okay, well then on that side, I kind of understand. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's a much different situation than you just hatching out a snake and you want it to live because all snakes are supposed to live, but they're just not.
I'm sorry. Lily Pad asked if your brother looks like Shrek, human Shrek 2. No, he doesn't. You and your brother don't look alike.
I've heard very.
You do, but your head is much. You have much more like.
Well, I have defined jawline, which is known for being more attractive, and he's got a big like block
his is
head.
round.
He's got a big round.
His head is just more round.
Head,
yours is very square, rectangular.
Very attractive young head. And he's got a big blocky fat old head. That's all. Now that we got that,
but I love.
He's like Shrek before he changed, and I'm after.
He told Lily Pad not to aim her vitriol. I don't even know how to say that word.
Vitriol.
Vitriol. That's a big word.
Lily Pad probably knows it better than you do. So she's.
Your mom said y'all do look alike.
So Jackie said, "How would you euthanize a snake that hatched but is no good?" But
I can tell you, feed it to the king snake.
Yeah, so
that's what we did.
It depends. So some of them, I mean, you can freeze them first, and that's not going to be, if you gradually cool them, their body is going to shut down, go into that brumation state, and then it's easy to cull them that way without feeling like you're being a dick. It's not torturing the snake to any degree. So freeze them and then give them to your king snake. Or it's always nice to have a snake around to eat stuff. And when you breed snakes, you're eventually going to get weird stuff that happens, or snakes that just don't make it, or a bunch of different things happen, because things happen, whether it's childbirth or snake birth,
snake birth.
Things
that sounds so weird.
Or snake hatching or birth.
Snake birth.
But I mean, yeah, just different things happen. Obviously, we're not working within a perfect system, so you can do. But it's always nice to have a snake that eats other snakes around, because
it works.
I mean, you put it to good use, because quite frankly, a baby snake isn't any different than a mouse. They're both just animals that are alive at one point.
Okay, that's real low levels.
Well, no, but on the very low level of fucking life, like life is life no matter where it falls on the food chain. So even though people really like,
feel that way.
People really like things that are higher on the food chain more. Well, no, not necessarily. It's obviously different when you have consciousness, but I'm talking about, like, why is it okay for a gecko out there to eat a moth, or you to feed crickets, but you don't want to feed mice, or you to eat processed foods and eat whatever you want, but you don't want to feed your snake a mouse because you don't want it to die? So it's like you're just being very hypocritical if you don't accept the fact that everything eats, and as long as you're not wasting anything and putting everything to good use and being responsible with what you bring into the world, because this shit doesn't need to reproduce. Like, the snakes can just chill here, but you're the one who's consciously making them breed and producing more.
And doing all that.
So you better do the right thing, with those babies, whatever the responsible thing and the best thing for them. Because if you're trying to raise this thing that has so many kinks in it that it can barely live its basic life without struggling, as far as like moving around and stuff like that, yeah, I don't think that's a very good life to live. But if it has a slight kink, then you're fine. But you know, there's just like anything else. There's degrees of it, and good or bad.
And we had one with a kink, and it ended up just dying on its own, didn't it? Or did you?
No.
Oh, never mind. You fit it to the kink.
Sometimes when it's that kinked, they don't eat either, which was the case. So, not eating and the kink, it's a pretty good sign. And I mean, some of them, you know, would never pass food if you tried. So that one probably wouldn't have passed food ever if you tried.
They said, are you gonna do any breeding videos this spring? For sure.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as everything's going, I do have a corn snake breeding video from last year, which I kind of explain how I only half brumated all the snakes and didn't really go full brumation, and then how to do it the real way. So I
this year will actually,
but this year, I mean, I will show all of my guys pairing up and stuff like that. I'll definitely show that. I don't know if I'll go over in depth videos just to do the breeding because I kind of already did it, but I'll do it as it happens. With
this many.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like, hey, this is us putting them into brumation.
Yeah,
they're down now or whatever, and this is me bringing them up. Now I'm gonna feed them a lot, and then this is the pairing. I'll go more step by step, so I'll make a video pretty much for every step.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good way.
What is your favorite snake in this collection?
The buff.
AML buff?
Yes.
Out of all of them?
Oh, out of all of them, the green tree.
Green tree?
Okay. Always green tree.
Mine's the olive.
Okay.
I think. Right? What do you think?
Oh, well. Why the olive?
Because I like that one the most. I don't know why the AML buff or why the green tree. Just
because it's pretty and it's cool. The green tree because it's different.
Yeah.
And the buff just because I like it.
Oh, do you have to whisper so none of the other ones hear?
The buff.
Oh, there you go.
Say I like it buff.
That's disgusting.
Does that make you feel better now that I said it that way?
No, it made me feel a lot worse, actually.
Please ask my question to Joe. So, Joe, how do you euthanize a love child you don't want?
You push her down the stairs or you got a coat hanger.
That's not something
you allowed to say that?
No, you're not. You're not allowed.
What else are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go to your local parenthood, walk through all the picketers, and fucking go take care of him, man. You know what you're doing. Although in the UK it might be different.
Do they have Planned Parenthood in the UK?
Some medieval shit. I don't know.
They don't have Walmart in the UK. Did you know that?
All right, you fat American.
Well, no, he brought it up earlier.
McDonald's just isn't the same over there.
It's not. I've been there, actually.
Ain't no biscuits.
They have fish and chips.
Mm-hmm. You know that? Like
I had some good cod in the UK when I went.
There's a Pizza Hut like right outside the pyramids in Egypt.
I think I heard that. I don't know how true that is.
That's stupid shit. It's just crazy how like fast foodie stuff is all over the place.
Whoa. Webb said feed the love child to the snake.
Yeah, that's another olive python.
What?
You can give it to the olive python.
Oh, that one eats anything too?
Yeah, I think she would pretty much eat anything, including unborn. That's a skill. Wow.
Okay. You think they eat? You said you didn't like my lasagna question. Yeah. Do you think
feeding frozen thawed abortions?
Do you think an MBK would eat a dead baby?
Wow. So
it is an animal.
If you happen to abort your baby in the toilet and then put it in the dumpster, would a Mexican black king snake eat it? Maybe. What the fuck? If you're religious, this is where you turn this off.
They would have been turned it off because of their conversation.
Turned it off.
Excuse me.
Or if you're in any way sensitive to Lily Pad's racism.
And Paris. Both of them were talking, they were shitting on Adam and Eve. Like they were just being real bad.
Yeah. So Jackie said her boa would eat a stuffed animal if you put it in her cage. Which I just posted a video today on my Facebook page of a carpet python swallowing a tennis ball and then a vet palpating it out of the mouth. So there you go.
That's crazy. Like, why? Just they're like, oh, it's there. Let me eat it. Like, There was no.
I don't know that particular situation. I don't know how
a
carpet python would eat a tennis ball, but I mean, they do have a good feed response, but I don't know how a tennis ball got introduced into the situation at all. So I really don't know.
Do we know what part of the world this was?
Where do you think? Sounds like an Australian problem to me. I'm not sure if it was a wild animal or was a captive, but it definitely swallowed a tennis ball.
Very interesting.
That's true. Lily Pad and Valiant would have a little Tiger Woods on their hands.
But no, isn't Paris half like part Jamaican? Am I making that up?
I don't want to explain how Jamaica works and how. Oh my god!
I thought he said he's something else.
Well, I don't want to have to do like a slave history lesson, but the triangle. No,
I don't know.
You got to explain these things.
He's part something else.
He's Jamaican, but the fact is that the people who are black in Jamaica are from Africa because they're a part of the slave trade. They were brought over to Jamaica and then up to the United States, and I forgot what they traded back and forth.
But
my
like,
brother
you
would
don't
probably
usually
be able
call
to tell
Jamaicans. They're Jamaicans. They're not just black people. They're Jamaican.
Right. But it's kind of like saying South Africans are white because the Dutch settled there. So you're like, oh.
No, South Africans are African.
Right. But Jamaicans are Jamaican, but there's also black Jamaicans and native Jamaicans.
Okay, I don't know how that conversation.
Works. I'm not from Jamaica, but
he's Aborigine? Is he trying to say Aboriginal? But that's how you say it. Aborigine. Okay. This is just getting so weird. Yeah. Jackie Crowell. How do you pronounce that last name?
She's not on the screen. Was it Crowell? I don't know what. I don't remember.
But I'm interested. Jackie could be both ways.
Yeah.
But I guess a girl. She knows a lot. So I'm interested what else she keeps. Boas, all that. Someone brought something else up earlier that I wanted to ask, and now I don't remember.
It was mostly about babies and for some reason.
Shoot, I don't remember.
You want to know a secret?
I don't know what Lily Pet asked.
Minecraft.
Yeah, no. Never mind.
There you go.
Okay. She.
Oh. So what'd you say? Crowl? What'd you say? I think she was talking. Oh, she. Oh, I thought we were talking about your last name. Oh, I said Crowell, and you said Crowl.
It just sounds weird. So she keeps her boa in a 4-foot tub. She's 9 years old. Wow.
With the last name Crowell.
It's a long time for a boa. 9 years.
Yeah. So Valiant asked, would a male be fine in a 4-foot? Oh, I was talking. Oh, she said up there.
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean, hog islands are small because they're an island species. So really with boas, you want to look up, like for Paris, look up like Vin Russo. I mean, if you want to listen to his podcast, you can. But the very particular thing that you need to know is that, especially the island species of boas, were
don't ask me because I don't know.
The island species of boas pretty much eat seasonally because they're eating mostly on things that are going through the island. So, what do you call that? Migrating birds. So they're feeding on like migrating birds that are coming in on the island for only a certain time of the year. They're eating a lot in a short period and then fasting for long periods. So, people cycle them seasonally because that mimics what's in the wild, and people in captivity keep their boas for the most part way too big, or all their snakes way too big. So it's always good to be on the light side with the boas and stuff like that. It's not necessarily an animal that needs to eat every single week. It's not a ball python.
Okay.
Ball pythons seem to be the only ones that are good with being fat. They just get bigger and fatter and they're all right.
Okay. What's the difference between a Borneo shorttail and a blood python?
It's the same difference of anything that's going to be a different species. So same genus, different species. They're both in the python genus, I believe. I don't know. But the fact is they're just different species. I mean, that's really it. So they look pretty much the same, but a Borneo shorttail is genetically different than a blood python enough, at least, to warrant a fully others or a full species. Or is it a subspecies? I don't fucking know. But the fact is, it's different. I'm pretty sure one's Python Curtis and one's Python borneensis, or I think it maybe at one point it was Python Curtis borneensis, but I'm not sure if it was a subspecies. Things changed too much, but I'm not really great with the blood python stuff, but I can try sometime.
So Jackie has a corn snake, a BCI Colombian boa, and a ball. Also, I've never heard of this. Webb said the rule of 3 for breeding corn snakes. Have you ever heard of that?
3 years, 300 grams. No, I've never heard that, but for the most part, I'm trying to get
3 years, 3 feet, 300 grams. Okay. So I don't know if it's one of the 3 or having all 3. I never
measured corn snakes in any degree.
And you don't weigh you don't weigh, you don't measure. You have no idea what any of your stuff weighs.
Because it's more dependent on time in comparison to a ball python, which pretty much just depends on weight. As long as you can get that animal up to a certain weight,
it can breed.
Yeah. So
but corn snakes need
once
more
you
time.
hit that 500 and once you hit that 1500, you're good.
But corn snakes need time.
Yeah, it's more of a time game because you can make a corn snake fat and unhealthy pretty easily.
Yeah. Okay, so he says all 3. He weighs all 3 feet, 300 grams in 3 years.
Yeah, well, I would just do 3 years. I don't know. I've never. I mean, you can just tell, I think, when an animal is at the size.
You can. I wouldn't.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't overthink it in that department. I used to a lot more, but I never really did it with colubrids because they're just all different. And a lot of them are really different sizes in comparison to who knows where the stock derives from and all the different factors that go into it. And there seems to be individuals that are much larger than others in comparison to where, you know, there are anomalies in ball pythons. You may have like a 3,000 gram female and most females are around 2,500 or something, or 2,000, or, you know, so there's definitely situations where things are just naturally bigger than others, just like humans, just like everything else. So, but I'm sure that's a good rule to go by, but I've never paid attention to it. And with the egg binding, I've had snakes plenty big, plenty old egg bind too. So it's usually you're going to cycle them anyway. And when you get them out of brumation, at a certain point, they're going to produce eggs whether you breed them or not. So they may just lay a clutch of slugs. Right. So that A-male buff that we have in there isn't very big, but she laid slug eggs last year. So she wasn't bred, but she laid the eggs anyway.
So she's ready.
Might as well put them to work because obviously she's ready to some degree. She's going to pass them anyway. And her body was ready to do it. And she passed all those eggs fine. She didn't egg. So why wouldn't you just make that a viable clutch? I'm not saying to do that. I don't push the animals to do any of that. I mean, sometimes they're just going anyway. So I don't know. The rules are only rules until fucking half your shit
there's an exception.
Follow the rules.
Yeah.
So it's like rules are cute, but the fact is that not everything fits into the box, especially with random animals. I mean, just like you can give someone, there's a reason why you give someone some type of medicine and it works differently on different people, or anything that a human consumes, and it has different effects on everyone because everyone's an individual. So snakes are an individual as well.
Okay, last one. Parent said, because it's cooler in the UK, my snake might brumate without me wanting her. Could she lay a clutch of slugs, or that'd be bad for her since she's only 2 years old and small?
I mean, if you brumate her and she has a clutch of slugs, it's not a big deal.
That doesn't hurt them at all to do slugs.
I mean, you can't really stop it.
Right.
That's not if it cycles naturally, you're not
forcing it. It's just happening.
Yeah. So I mean, even though I'm not gonna cool down the snakes in this room too much, as far as like Tony and stuff like that, he'll still cruise like it's breeding because he'll know somehow that it's breeding season. That's why you don't even have to try that hard. At the end of the day, they usually know it's breeding season and they're usually ready to go pretty much. No matter if you try to make them not ready to go or, you do things to make your success higher, but either way, the snakes want to breed sometimes, and snakes are there to reproduce. That's what they do. We're in captivity, so it's always a fucking feast. There's not really much famine, so they're well fed and ready to go, and they want to reproduce.
You know who else is ready to go?
Ew, lily pad with Molly and Faint.
Oh, I didn't mean like that. I was using the other definition.
Well, I was pertaining to them ready to go with having sex with each other.
I thought it was a good transition, and then I thought about it. I'm sorry. I meant the other definition of go, like
to the bathroom,
like leave,
like go,
like in this.
Where are we going?
I have to go do homework.
Yeah, I'm really tired,
and I'm also really tired.
Lily Pat's pregnant.
Oh God, I don't understand this.
Can you name
also,
it?
Like I just want
Port City Python.
Yeah, that's the name. Port City Python.
Yeah.
First name Port, middle name City.
City Python.
City Python's the middle name. Gotcha. Okay. Outro.
All right. You can get us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Port City Python.
Twitter?
Whatever.
We don't have a Twitter.
We do have a Twitter. You just aren't into it.
Okay.
I twat all the time. I twat all over. I send twats. And
you twat all over. That's disgusting.
Port City Pythons, YouTube, Instagram. I don't know.
That's it. Sorry, if we were boring. Also, Valiant said he's going to name the baby Port City Pythons just to euthanize it.
Wow. Well, just make sure that you cool it down incrementally and feed it to your king snake. That's really it.
Yes. Okay. Next week we will have a guest. Well, they won't be here.
You fucking filthy animals.
They'll be on the screen.
Be nice.
You'll see them in the screen. So it'll be more exciting next week. Is it still 6 o'clock?
More and more, yeah.
6 o'clock next week.
Yeah.
We're having a guest. Check us out. Thanks, Jackie. It was nice to have you.
We don't need people coming on and thinking that everyone's just talking about abortions all the time.
Yeah. Be nice for it. When our guest is on, we gotta tone it down.
No, you can do whatever you want. For real, you can do whatever you want.
So I don't know how cool he is. That's coming on next.
Find out.
Find out.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Adios,
Bye.
amigos.
How do we do this?